Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I don't have a good voice because I'm suffering a bit. Well, Madame la Présidente, il ne faut pas noyer le poisson. Je vais directement au but because it is important for our people, especially for our vulnerable people, to know that with the freezing of the means test, we should not forget that so many good things are being done to the vulnerable people. Because first and foremost, the reform of the pension was meant to protect the vulnerable people. And it is sad to note that the chief whip, and the whip of the opposition was alluding that we should not touch the pension, the BRP. I know his party, the PMSD, is not like the Labour Party. We have always been inspired, starting with Suivez by Fabian socialism, and our actual Prime Minister himself is imbued with these principles of Fabian socialism. So it was important. We know fully well that the pension scheme that we had for so many years, and this is not only a debate that we are having now. Even before independence and after independence, if you read so many reports, even from the United Nations, they have been analyzing this very sort of sensitive issue regarding the pension. So today, what has to go on record, we did the reform amendments in the first year, and we listened to people, the Prime Minister listened to people, and this year, I myself, many among the members of the executive today, we do criticize, but within existing fora, within the existing structures, we have been discussing, as I mentioned before, c'est à travers les discussions, les chocs des idées, que va jaillir la lumière. And I fully appreciate that this year we had ample time to discuss in the parliamentarian caucus and other fora about the reforms. And I have to say, if it is a confession, I don't know, that I've been a supporter of targeting. It is very important. Let me give you an example. It is not possible, Madam Speaker, that somebody who is working, earning 100,000 rupees, he should benefit the 14 or 15,000 rupees just like other vulnerable people. This is simply unsustainable and impossible to continue. Well, it may be debatable. Now, I hear also that some people are criticizing the experts. No, we need experts. And these experts, according to me, when they have submitted the report, I had the opportunity to discuss. They are seasoned actuarial scientists. I discussed with them personally, and they gave a report in a bona fide manner. Then it is up for we politicians to strike a balance and to hear the people. This is the difference, Madam Speaker, difference between an emperor, the approach of an emperor, and the approach of a statesman. And this morning, I myself, I sent messages to the Prime Minister, and many of my colleagues, ministers, junior ministers, and other MPs, we listen to people. Even when we go to social functions, I was attending a wedding of a close friend, the Prime Minister was there, senior ministers like Minister Boulel was there. We don't just go to social functions to enjoy. We are still working, brainstorming, discussing. And I was discussing with Honorable Boulel. And I told the Prime Minister that when I also listen to trade unionists, take Mr. Gopi, take Mr. Benidin, 90%, Madam Speaker, of the trade unionists, they agreed on Friday night and on Saturday that this is a very good budget. I won't say it's a perfect budget. They agree that it is a good budget. But also, unlike some of the MPs who quickly understand some of the issues, some of the problems of means test, as I mentioned, the means test was used in the past. It was abolished, then put on board again. This is the reality. There are some problems, systemic problems within the means test. And famous economists have explained what are the problems because, let me take one example. People in the informal sector, they may earn more than doctors, more than professors, more than engineers. So until and unless, this is where we have to bring reforms, where the MRA has to do a job, they have to be assigned a job, and bring rectification. And also I would like to make an appeal. I think it's very important, an appeal to both the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Finance, and the Junior Minister of Finance. I think it is very important, as I always mention, to sensitize people and also to explain people. We have on radio, on television, to bring what I would say financial literacy. Because some people, they don't understand. And that is why people, like some members, I cannot generalize, some members of the opposition, they are expert in demagogy. And they will try to manipulate people because some people don't understand certain basic economic concepts. It is good that some economists, some of my friends who are more versed than me in economics, they are trying to explain, but it is not enough. And I think for the future, it will be important to, on radio and television, to educate people on some economic concepts. Very, very important. Now, when it comes to, so we have been able to address this issue, and with the bold decision of the Prime Minister to listen to ministers, senior ministers, but also to MPs and other junior ministers, because we have been listening to people, we have rectified. Very good, and he has to be commended for that. Now, I would like to rebut what the leader of the opposition has said. Normally, even as a social activist, I've always been exercising a sort of balance, and even when I joined politics, I've been exercising a sense of balance, not to, and never hit people below the belt. But listening to the leader of the opposition, I think he used a very provoking term, voler à pension. Well, come on. I think in life, you see, for me, every day, I have to look myself in the mirror. Very important. Not because I want to know whether I'm smart or if you are a lady, not because you want to see if you are beautiful. Yes, you are beautiful. But your internal beauty is important. And whether now I ask the leader of the opposition, even if he's not here, whether when looking collectively, the MSM people, to look themselves in the mirror, whether they can say what they have been saying, whether we are voleurs de pension. Yes, we've tried to reform, maybe in a rush, yes, I confess, at times, because we want to save the country. That's why we are doing it. But let me remind them, at times I think people have got short memory. Will the leader of the opposition tell us who has been ripping off the Bank of Mauritius? Who has been ripping off Silver Bank, putting pressure on many institutions to place their money in Silver Bank? Who has been ripping off Air Mauritius, qui était un bijou de la nation? I can go on and on. And, Madam Speaker, at a time when we were suffering, we were trembling like a leaf during COVID, what people were doing. Not only, you know the difference between robbing and looting? Looting when there is social unrest, when there is a disorder. You take advantage and you loot the country. And this is what they have been doing, these people. They have been looting the country. And now they come and say, we are volés à pension. No, we are bona fide people. We are genuine. We've tried to reform, yes. Possibly we made some mistakes, yes. Nothing wrong with it. So at the end of the day, our main objective is to protect the poor people. I joined the Labour Party because, as I mentioned, I will explain in a few minutes what is Fabian socialism. I joined the Labour Party. First time I met the Prime Minister, many years back, when he mentioned to me, I want to democratize the economy. This is what he said. And this is when I was convinced that I know the history of the Labour Party. Right from 1936 onwards, I know, and me also, I've always been a moderate socialist. And in this alliance, most of the partners, they believe in socialism. And we believe in Fabian socialism. So people who have been looting the country, ripping up the country, now they want to teach us lessons. No, no way. We cannot accept this. So this budget, Madam Speaker, you will see on one hand, it is a budget of responsibility. It is a budget of equilibrium, but also it is a budget of innovation. And when it comes to, I like to in a way, to explain basic things. You know, when you come to Fabian socialism, this is a political and economic philosophy developed by the Fabian Society in Britain during the late 19th century. Unlike revolutionary socialism, we've got some friends who are revolutionary socialists, but in the Labour Party we are more moderate socialists. And Fabianism, you see, advocates gradual reforms rather than radical change. And this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to bring reforms in a gradual manner, and this is important. And what does it do, Fabian socialism? It seeks also to combine, we are keeping a market economy, we are not a communist. Sir Steve Sagar has never been a communist, the actual Prime Minister is not a communist, but we try to strike that balance. And also, Fabian socialism, where the Labour Party has always been seeking inspiration, is to give more social protection. And now we are giving more social protection to the vulnerable people. And also, what we've seen in the budget, I'm going to comment if I have time, public investment in education. And this is what the Minister of Finance has done. More investment in health. This is why Honorable Bechu will have the golden opportunity to recruit around 2,000 paramedics and people in the medical field. You know, for so many years, and I'm going to also state that today, I've always been saying that the Public Service Commission will have, in some circumstances, in some instances, they have to lower their qualifications. Because why? Last time I visited a private clinic, more than 90% of the nurses come from foreign countries. And I've got friends who have been working in UK. They've got only 2 credits. 2 credits, and they have become professors in reputable universities. So we are wasting human resource. And this is where, I'm sure, Mr. Honorable Bechu, who is more socialist than me, will take that into consideration and discuss with the members of the Public Service Commission, of course, with after discussion with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Public Service, because we have to do certain things to protect the poor people. And believe me, for so many years, for 10 years more, one Mr. Jagatpal has done nothing in terms of training. Now he comes and brag, he comes and talk. When he was leaving the ministry, what Honorable Bechu told me, and what I understand from my friends from the Ministry of Health, they owe more than 2.3 or 2.4 billion of rupees. This is not possible, Madam Speaker. This is what, yeah, I'm sorry, just to make a conclusion, if you allow me, Madam Speaker.
Give you 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. So you will see, Madam Speaker, that this is a responsible budget. It is geared towards innovation. For example, we are creating an SEZ in Contredor. This is very important. We are going to give more opportunities, more money to my good colleague and friend, the Minister of Tertiary Education, to boost up tertiary education. A better budget has been given to the Minister of Education also. So you see, it's not only being responsible, fiscal responsibility, but at the same time, we are trying to be innovative. And believe me, the population will see in 1-2 years' time what the measures we are taking will bear the fruits. So thank you, Madam Speaker, for your attention.